أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. I am here to talk to you about the revolution. A revolution means the change, putting upside down what matters. The bringing of the dinar and the dirham is an absolute change into the system, the economic system, that we have endured for the last 100 years. This system is based on Riba, is haram, is irrational, is inhuman, is criminal, and have brought mankind to its knees. Yet, human beings, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, we have given mankind a very small brain, very small. Reason is overstated, and our intelligence is overstated. We are not that clever. And the proof of it is the state we find ourselves in. The most important philosopher in the history of philosophy, Martin Heidegger, who is the last of the philosophers, and therefore the most important, wrote in Freiburg, Germany, "Science doesn't think. Science doesn't think." And this is a very extraordinary statement, because we live under the impression that to achieve knowledge, we have to achieve it through science. Yet, these important things that are said, repeat, science doesn't think. He went a little bit farther and he said, philosophy is an error. So in other words, we've been for 2,500 years thinking in the West, thinking wrong. That's a pretty big statement, multiple statements. And his reason is because the science cannot think the truth. And if you cannot think the truth, what is the use of that kind of thinking? If science cannot think Allah, then it cannot think. It's useless. To put it perhaps more acceptable terms, like Ibn Rus said, it is useful, but as long as it is understood, its limits. So reason must understand its limits. If you do not understand the limits of reason, you will be fooled by reason. Fooled by reason is a bad thing. Because imagine you think you are so clever and you are being fooled. And then, since you don't no longer know how to think, then you cannot get out of it. And that's pretty embarrassed. Well, this is exactly where we find ourselves in. We cannot think. Universities cannot think. Faculties cannot think. Professors of university cannot think. Economists cannot think. And this is pretty devastating. So the more we continue without thinking, the more we find ourselves deeper and deeper in ignorance. And when we looked at it in detail, it's a very, very embarrassing type of ignorance. For we can no longer see what's in front of our eyes. And that is a great proof that we cannot think anymore. Because science cannot think God. It has no use to us. It has only a limited power. But when science claims for itself the absolute capacity to define the truth, they define kufr, but it's a logical kufr. It's a kufr that makes sense, and that is absolutely amazing. Riba makes sense. So there is a faculty of economics, and our people, good people, Muslim people, send their children to be educated in absurdities and stupidities and lies. We send our children to accountancy schools so that they can fit into a system that we know is riba and is haram and doesn't make sense. And yet, because we cannot think, we carry on. So this type of existence is a bit like a zombie. This individual moves, opens the mouth, but actually is brainless. The Muslims have another way of thinking, other than Christian. And that has been always how Muslims were above the kuffar. Because never in history the Muslims have found themselves below the kuffar. Never. This is new to us. These kuffar are teaching us how to think properly, while they themselves don't have a clue of how to think. The best of them, they are saying, we cannot think like Martin Heidegger. We cannot think, never mind. We are following their way of thinking. The Muslims have another instrument to think other than this. It's the heart. They think with the heart. And if you want to know, then you have another type of Muslim that can encompasses the heart and encompasses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's called taqwa. Taqwa allows you to think. Because taqwa eliminates all other fears. When you fear Allah, and you fear Allah so much, there's no space for other fears. Because when you are under pressure, and you perhaps yourselves, your life, you have found yourself in that situation, one thought, you cannot think properly. Fear affects the way you think. If you have fear of creation, then you're not going to think properly. The only way to think properly is to have that. If you remove all the fears, then you can see straight. And the things that they are seeing, that you can understand. And Islam is simple. And I'm going to prove to you it's simple. Because today, you will leave this room as a revolutionary. Today, it will not be the same. Today, you're going to see something new. And with that one, you will learn how to think. What I need to say, and repeat. God will be revealed high above. Okay. to show you how simple it is, I am not going to talk. I'm going to remain silent. And you are going to do the thinking yourselves. And then I will talk again. This is a golden apple. And this is silver. And this is paper. Do you see? Can you see? Can you truly see what's in there? This is stupidity, ignorance, incapacity to think, worship of kufr. What some people have called the colonialism of the brain. It's absurd, it doesn't make sense. It's a false proposition. It says here, I promise to pay you the amount of 1,000 rupees on the month. Who is promising to pay? So, in other words, is it true that if I go to this State Bank of Pakistan and I ask them for 1,000 rupees, I will pay you? Can we try that? Do you know what the rupee is in the first place? Do you know what the rupee is? This is a rupee. This is not a rupee. Can you notice the difference? You have to free yourself a little bit from fear, because otherwise you don't see it. Just relax. Throw it away. Throw your degree of economics away. Throw it away. Just relax and say, okay, what do I see? Promissory note, a piece of paper, worthless piece of paper, and this is a piece of silver. This is real. Okay, you can buy it. Gold, silver, gold, real thing. Theoretically, I can go to the bank and I can ask them for 1,000 of these. Huh? That's the theory of it. So, what happens? What happens if we go together to the central bank and we ask them for 1,000 of these? Nothing will happen. The person across the table will look at us and say, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Give me 1,000 of these. 1,000 of what? So rupees, you promised to pay here. I have 1,000 rupees. So I want 1,000 of these. No, they will not pay you anything. The person will tell you, that's it. Because there was never intention. There was no intention to pay you anything ever. Ever. Never. They have no intention. Okay? So let's start thinking. Thinking. Just relax a little bit, as I said to you earlier. Relax. And think that this thing is in your pocket right now. Okay? And there is a thing, they tell you inflation. There are these economists that they tell you inflation is 16%. It's not inflation, it's theft. Wake up! You know, hit yourself in the cheek a little bit. Theft! Wake up! You are being robbed right now. Robbed! Robbed! They are stealing from you right now. Since I started until now, they have stolen from your pocket. Okay, so I start using the brain. You know, it's paralyzed, but it never mind. You can reactivate it. You can wake up from the dream if you try. They are robbing you. And there is a whole profession of economists who will tell you this is rational. Rational. They don't even know what rational means. Rational is genocide for Adolf Hitler. I can rationalize for you anything you want. Reason is not how we think. We think with the heart. We are fearful, lovable. This is what makes you think. But you have put it aside. And I have convinced you that no, reason with me. Reason what? That this makes sense? Wake up. Wake up from the dream. All of you, wake up.